Thanks for dropping in. Last year, I designed these articulated snowmen. Each segment is held in place with a hidden elastic band. This system lets you reposition your snow people into all sorts of fun and expressive poses. This year, I'm revisiting the system with a new theme: Posable Penguins. Thanks to the same elastic band mechanism, these flightless friends are just as flexible as the snow people. They're also compatible with a growing collection of Snowpeople hats, like this wool cap, designed by wacky 3D prints. If you'd like to make some of your own, these penguins are very easy to print. All the parts have minimal overhangs, so no supports are required. You also don't need a multicolor printer to get a multicolor result. The eyes, beak, and feet can be printed separately and glued on, as long as your printer supports pausing, and I hope it does. A simple pause and filament swap will give you these cute pupils, or a colorful band for the top hat. That said, if you do have a multicolor printer, this model includes a few time-saving parts you can use. The bottom segment is available with the feet pre-attached, and the middle section has an optional white belly. I'm always attempting to improve my designs, so I'm happy to say that the penguin is actually easier to assemble than my older Snowpeople model. Let's print some extra parts, and I'll run through the process. We'll need a head, a middle, a bottom with or without feet, a hat, a beak, 2 eyes, and some sort of elastic band. For that last part, I'm using a scrap of TPU filament, but you could also use rubber bands, fishing wire, round sewing elastic, or anything else that's sufficiently thin and won't snap under a bit of tension. I plan to make a lot of penguins, so I've printed entire sheets of the smaller parts. These sheets print more reliably than individual parts and are far less likely to get lost. First, let's attach the eyes to the head. Depending on your printer and print settings, you might just be able to press fit these. But if the part feels loose, or if you're gifting this to a kid, a drop of superglue would be a good idea. Once the eyes are aligned, firmly press them in place. Now we'll do the same with the beak. If the beak's not fitting, make sure it's oriented correctly. The top of the beak has a slight curve, and the bottom of the beak has a lower jaw. If you're assembling a penguin with a hat, you can start threading the elastic band on either side of the penguin. There's room to tie a knot either in the head or in the bottom segments. But if you're assembling a penguin without a hat, you'll need to start at the head and work your way down. That's what I'll do with this print. We just thread the elastic in one side, out the top, and back it. Now we'll slide on the middle. This part rotates freely, so you don't need to worry about orientation. And finally, we'll add the bottom. Make sure that this orientation is correct. Otherwise, your penguin will be predisposed to waddling backward. Now we need to tie and tighten up the band. What's worked for me is starting with a slip knot. Once that's in, you can shove the knot into this hollow and pull the loose side of the band as tight as possible. Once the band is tensioned, a second knot seems to be more than enough to keep everything in place. Now we can just trim off the extra bits of the band. If you're adding a hat, you can glue that on now. Or you can use this Hat Pins remix by Joe Kelly to create a removable hat. The rounded head is a little trickier, so I wanted to demonstrate running the elastic band through that. You want to slide it in through one side, and then use a small pair of needle nose pliers to grab the end of the TPU and pull it all the way out. And there we go. The rest of the assembly is the same. Looks like the glue on the hat is dry, so we're done. Well, until we print more, of course. Penguins are really social creatures after all. As always, the files to print your own copy are free and linked in the video description. I've also linked to Printable's collection, featuring Snowpeople hats and remixes to further improve your penguin prints. I'll keep that up to date if any more hats come out. So until next time, happy printing and thanks for stopping by. Actually, I have one more Snow Person update. The giant version of the Snowman now has an optional stylish sweater. This stylish sweater is available with or without armholes, and with or without buttonholes. It's also compatible with the existing sweater collar, but you don't actually need it. For this print, I recommend using a strong fuzzy texture to really get in that woven feel. I've seen a lot of these giant Snowpeople prints lately, so I hope some of them get these new cozy clothes. Alright, see you next time.